back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another episode of The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, and this is season 1. This is episode 8. This is called Splitting Hairs. And before we get into it, child, I know I'm late. I am beyond late, and I'm late for Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I knew there was probably going to be more to unpack when it came to that than it would be for Rhode Island. So I went ahead and I'm getting this out of the way. And so Atlanta will be coming the next day. Trust me. I'm going to watch that after I'm done recording and doing all this when it comes to review of it all. But yeah, we back. I'm also trying to get caught up. Normally the days I record, I was out, so I wasn't able to record or even watch that day. And I'm going to reshuffle my schedule across the board because for those who already know, you see how I'm dressed. Pardon me. It is racing season, so I'm going to be exercising more and running more, and I'm actually training for a 50K again. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to make this work, but it is going to impact when these come out because I'm committing to joining a run club that occurs on Mondays. So that's going to impact when I record this. So there is that. But yeah, this was a pretty good episode. It wasn't, like I said, I knew that I was probably going to get more from Atlanta, and we'll get into that when we, I still got to watch it, and I'm going to do all that tonight. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this review. So we start off with a typical Housewives montage where we get Rula with her daughter. She's eating, I guess her daughter's eating a typical child's meal. You know how as a kid you have your palate is just it sucks. You just be eating chicken tenders and whatnot. I might have to hold on real quick. Hold on. Child, the way Zero, so I don't know about y'all, but anyone who has pets, when the weather changes a good 20 degrees, my cats be acting the fool. They don't know what to do with it. So yeah, Zero today has just been acting a fool. Same thing with Whisper. Whisper started it, and Zero has just been following suit. I know that's not why you're here, but anyway, let's get back to the review. I know this is at the very beginning. I'm not cutting it out, whatever. So then, after this piece of the Housewives montage, we have Joellen with her family, and I think they're just eating pizza or whatever. And then we have Liz, Jerry, and her cats. And I never knew that she has 2 cats, by the way. And the one is very, I think is a Bengal. And then the other one is this fat, well, not fat, a chubby, looks like a domestic cat. I can't really tell because, I think this is my first time seeing this cat. And the cat's name is Biggie Smalls. I'm just child. I knew I liked Liz for a reason. She has a cat called Biggie Smalls. And it is giving baby when it comes to the size of the cat. But anyway, yeah. So then from there, we get into the first official scene where we have Billy and Alicia. And Alicia is driving. And Alicia is making me nervous the way she's driving. She is so erratic. I'm yo. She is just, she's a lot. She's a lot. And so apparently Billy's trying to get her out of her thing where she doesn't drive. It's look, I need help getting the kids from dance class. And apparently she's scared of this one bridge. Only for us to find out in this episode as we're in the car with her, this bridge is not even that crazy. She just is a bad, scary driver. And I think part of the reason why she's not a good driver is because, for one, she don't really be paying. She's doing all this while she's driving. She's trying to talk with her hands like she's driving. Very Italian, okay? But she's doing all this while she's driving. And then on top of it, then she is blowing through stop signs. all on the other side of the road. I'm like, she is not a good driver. I was getting anxiety, but okay. But while this is happening, because all this is happening while she's recapping things. So she's venting to Billy about how she has some issues with Liz right now because Liz did shut down the idea of her being homeless, but like didn't give her any credit for her dealing with a traumatic event as a child. Basically minimized it substantially. And I'll be honest with you, I think part of what this is, just a little bit, not too much, I think is a generational difference, because we have to remember Liz is older. So I think that's another thing that we're kind of seeing here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I've noticed it a lot, really the past couple episodes. It is sticking out that, okay, yeah, she's close with these ladies and tight with all these ladies. And I just found out in this video, a mosquito bit me right here. And I have a mosquito bite right here. I'm not happy about that. I'm sorry. I just now realized that. I was like, not me having a mosquito bite right on my face. Disrespectful. Anyway, but she is venting about that. So I think next episode I saw a preview. I think that the preview for next episode is they are going to get into it, because there is still some residual issues with that, and how Liz will shut people down while they're just basically trying to articulate their feelings. Because at the end of the day, yes, Liz is the same age as Alicia's aunt. But you're not her as a child. I don't know. We talked about that last 2 episodes ago, so it's still a thing. And then the other thing that was mentioned in this scene is that Joellen told all the ladies what's going, basically show the receipts when it comes to what's going on with Rula and Brian, and now they want her to be the one that tells Rula, and she's not really trying to do that. But at the same time, she feels like she's being fake by not telling him, by not telling Rula, because it's giving, I know what you did last summer. And she kind of did allude to that similar saying, I know what you did, but it's going to come up again later on the scene. Let's get it out of the way. Because I don't like to always review things in order. Later on, her and Billy do actually meet up with Rula and Brian at their house, and she couldn't bring herself to do it. So she did not do it, but I will say this. Rula and Brian, they're odd. I don't really know what to make of their relationship. I feel like when they're together and they're trying to do a couple scene, they're putting on for the camera of things being way better than they are. And I don't know. Was anyone else weirded out this episode where Brian's behavior even more? He went to the restroom briefly he went to use the restroom, but then after that, then he said he was on a business call. But it's giving his mistress called and he had to do something about that real quick. But then, I don't know, it's they are putting on that they're this perfect couple, but we can see the cracks a mile away, so it's very inauthentic, very fake, and very forced. I don't know. But the interaction when they had the dinner party at Rula and Brian's was really weird. And let's not get twisted. Alicia and Billy, they're kind of odd too, because Alicia's kind of odd. But Alicia, there's just there's a thing with her where that is clearly her. That's just her personality. She's just quirky naturally. And I feel like he was trying to show his lively, light side. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you thought that they were putting on a lot more than normal to try to mask what's going on, but it didn't land. Anyway, that is what happened later on in the episode. And then prior to that happening later on in the episode, Rula was talking about how she's been sick for a while, but on the same side of her neck is trying to say she wasn't trying to go to the castle anyways. Like, girl, you weren't really sick. Okay, we all know you weren't really sick. And I wonder if that's going to come up during the reunion. I didn't watch the after show. I probably should have, but I think I'll just watch it for my leisure, and then we'll go into that. But because that's not really the reason why we're even talking about this episode. We got something to get into when it comes to this episode. But yeah, that's pretty much all that happened, though, when it came to Rua. And then that was one of the only things that really happened with Alicia this episode. So that's pretty much it right there. Yeah. So the one person whose this episode is really centered on substantially was, I forgot to mention, it's probably obvious now, they're all back from Newport. But Rosie and Rich, they're there at their house outside, and they're kind of talking about the delays and stuff that they've had with the construction. And it turns out, I guess they're trying to do 8,000 square feet. I can't really tell. What, like, looking at on screen, I can't tell what the size is, but at the end of the day, I don't care. It's not my house. But they're talking about that. And they're talking about the Kelsey thing, but at the same time, I will say this. I'm turning a corner when it comes to Rosie, like I said, and I think that started last episode. But at the same time, I'm going to need Rosie to stop with this passive aggressiveness. I just cannot stand passive aggressive behavior. That gets on my nerves. Like, it hurts my soul. I don't know if it's the Aries in me, but I just cannot stand passive aggressive behavior. Like, say it with your chest, say it, mean what you say, and you know, call it good. But anyway, so she's still trying to, like, basically make this friendship work. She's like, you know, yeah, we're starting with a clean slate. But at the same time, as she's saying all this stuff to her husband, she's still making these digs towards her too about her lifestyle. And I'll be honest, and this is where I'm going to get you, Rosie. You started this. And you started by being really judgy about her lifestyle. And Kelsey is just giving it back to you. Like, to me, these two are two sides of the same coin. But now, because Rosie has been trying to be, at least outwardly, has been trying to patch things up, what happens later on the episode was totally Kelsey's fault. We'll just leave it at that. And we'll get into it when we're there. But it's just Rosie's passive aggressive attitude. I can see how that could irk someone. And especially if you are insecure like a Kelsey and kind of somewhat bitchy of a personality like Kelsey, the passive aggressiveness, the nice nasty, you're going to find that annoying. But the thing is, at this moment, we're seeing it as we're watching the show, but Kelsey doesn't know that this is a thing yet, I don't think. So I am looking forward to see how this really plays off during the reunion, because Rosie's not innocent here. Rosie kind of did high-key start this, but I feel like what Rosie was doing and what Kelsey's doing, they're not the same. All the way. Because Rosie started it, but I feel like Kelsey's dragging it. There we go. That's what I was trying to get at. Kelsey is dragging it. Especially since they're supposed to be trying to be cool now. But anyway, we're going to find out that they're going to try to hang out later on this episode. If you can tell by what I'm saying right now, it's not going to go over very well. Their truce lasted one episode. Anyway, next. So speaking of Kelsey is now in this, it looks like it's a townhouse situation. I couldn't really tell. They didn't really show the outside. But we find out that this girl is trying to claim she's being independent, but she ain't being independent none. The man's still paying for this place. And then her actual boyfriend, Billy, the one who she's actually seeing right now, comes and helps her, IKEA some things up because apparently she's trying to put some stuff together. She don't really know how to do that. And the mom and the sister are both looking at her like, girl, what? Like, you're saying you want to be independent, but you're not doing independent things. For one, she still ain't got a job for real. Like, and she just is. And we also find out not only is this man paying for her place, he's paying for her health insurance and car insurance. I'm like, girl. I'll say this. I would be more for this if she had her own streams of income and she was being independent. Like actually independent, but then just letting this man take care of her at the same time. Like on some city girl stuff. I would be more for that. But the fact that I'm finding out, and as we're watching this scene, like watching this season, she never did plan for a plan B if things were to go awry. Like, from what we gather, what this relationship was, it seems like she had an allowance. So she has this allowance. Why does she not put money on the side and invest it and do the things? But she don't even know how to do all that. And that's to me, I'm looking at the mom like, okay, so you just let her do all this, but you didn't really teach her that. You gotta teach her the game, okay? If you're gonna play the game, you gotta play the game well. And she played the game to me poorly when it comes to how this is being handled. Because yes, she's lucky that this dude's a solid dude who is still somewhat taking care of her, but she's still not independent. And it's bothering me that she's saying for those who watch my channel, y'all already know how I am when it comes to independent talk. I cannot stand fake independent, fake feminists, like kind of conversation. It is one of those things that irks my spirit. I cannot stand it. As someone who really is a hyper independent person, it annoys me. Like, if you want to be a kept woman, just say that and do that. Don't be trying to be fake independent, because that's not you. And that's okay. It could never be me, but even during the years when I was a kept girl, because I was a kept girly for a little bit, I still had money on the side, though. You know what I mean? Like, clearly I did. It wasn't like I had to move back to my parents' house or anything like that when things went awry. I went ahead and moved to the city and kept it pushing. The last, amicable thing that happened was he helped me move, and then we had lunch together, and after that, then we never saw each other again. But that's how it should be. Like, if you're going to break up, the breakup needs a breakup. Like, why is this man still supporting you? And you're in your 30s. And you keep trying to say you're being independent. Like, you're talking both sides of your neck. You're sounding less than smart when you're having this conversation, like, with your family. And it's just weird that she's bragging about this stuff as if, like, this is a flex. To me, it's not a flex. A flex would be you have your own and then he's still paying for your stuff. That's a flex. A flex is during the times where you weren't, where you were being kept and you maybe didn't have a job or whatever, you put money on the side and now you got money. That's a flex. A flex is if things are to go awry, you can leave that man at any time and be able to go and do your own thing. That's a flex. But to me, it's giving she can't do any of those things. Or she's just not mature enough to do that in the way where she will have to scale back a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, when I did my thing and I scaled back, I didn't really scale back that much. It was, I got me a second job and I made it do what it do. Like, I kept traveling. None of that changed. Actually, after post breakup, I probably have been traveling. I've traveled more and more places since breaking up than I did when we were together with my own money. I just figured out how to do it on a budget and make it do what it do. And I was able to stay in places that were just as nice, and I just found it. So there's a way to do it, and you not really have to give up much of your lifestyle. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand. I just, these are the things I will never understand when I'm watching people who have this kind of a mindset of being kept. But like they don't have the wisdom or the knowledge to be kept, but always have money on the side and not to rely on others when things go awry. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I got there because you already know I could go on the soapbox for days on this whole thing. Whisper. Okay, so then next we see Ashley, and she is with her child Dawson, and Dawson is so cute. So we find out Dawson's doing better. Dawson's doing better now, and what was going on is that he basically has he had like cough, like his cold induces his asthma, so that's why it was more problematic than would normally be, but he's back on the up and up, and all is good there. We talk about also how she still is definitely carrying something when it comes to like her husband and how he is hanging on to this coffee shop that's not making him any money. And so, because she really would love it if he was more on his influential bag. And so Ashley's at her house with her sister, and they're kind of talking about all this. And she also says that she's starting to slowly fit in with the rest of the group. So the trip was good. It was a win-win. But then she also just talks about how like this coffee shop ain't really doing anything for them. And she really just wishes he would just let this coffee shop thing go because it's not helping, it's hurting, and really they make way more money doing the influential stuff. And so towards the end of this scene, her sister helps her film like an Instagram brand situation at the end. And apparently they accumulated all this during their time in The Bachelor, and that's why they have this, and so they're able to just do this. Which I know that's why today a lot of people will go on these shows like Love is Blind and stuff like that to get into that side of the world, to become an influencer. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it when it comes to Ashley. Next. So then next we see Joellen, and she is at her grandpa's house, and she's there with her sister Jen and her mom. And this was a heartfelt scene. I was pleasantly surprised by how this scene went because her mom did own up to some of the behavior of how she just was less than motherly. And I think the reason why she was able to own up to it is because Jen was there, her sister, and basically gave a softer landing for her mom. Because I feel like if Joellen was there by herself, it would not have ended the way it needed to end. Because Joellen's lot is a little bit more rough around the edges. And it's, to me, Jen is definitely more the voice of reason. Her mom received it, and she basically stated what we kind of all maybe thought was going on. She showed up the way her mom showed up as a mom, which her mom did not show up very well as a mom. And she basically gave an example of what her mom did to her. And so she's like, I just basically went off the tools that was provided to me, and it really wasn't much. And honestly, she does cop to the fact that, yes, they may have been mischievous kids, but she was overwhelmed. And that's real, and she did apologize, and I think what we're seeing here, and actually it's funny because I was listening to, shout out to Jessie Wu, just a couple things, her podcast, and someone wrote in about, the dynamic with their moms and how things were not the best. And Jessie dropped a dime saying, she's heard from others who have had similar situations once they have kids and that said parent becomes a grandparent, their perspective changes. And I think that's what we're seeing firsthand. I don't know if Joellen would have gotten out those results that she wanted from her mom if it wasn't for the fact that she has grandchildren. I think her mom has regret and was internally feeling guilty and feeling away, as she should, by how she handled things. And once the grandkids came into play, she is trying to redeem herself. And I think she also started to see the error of her ways once she saw how Joellen is with her kids. And so, yeah, that's what we see here. And also, too, I'm still trying to understand, was the dad not in the picture? That's the part that I feel like I'm missing. Was the dad not in the picture? Like, why was she overwhelmed? I just have questions when it comes to that. And was the money tight? There's some questions I have that I feel like we didn't really get that because her mom was so quick to apologize. So quick. Now, how much do you guys believe the apology? I kind of believe it, but at the same time, I kind of don't, because I feel like she did it I feel like this conversation was much shorter of a conversation than I thought it was going to be. And I feel like a part of it is they're all putting on for the camera a little bit. I don't know. Just a part of me feels that way. But at the same time, I was proud that there was a conversation, but there just wasn't as much. I guess I'm used to when you're talking to your elders, there's a lot of times more pushback, and there just really wasn't. So it almost seems like either the conversation already happened off camera and they're just redoing the conversation, or she is just saying sorry to get this out the way so they don't have to continue the conversation. Because it was clearly an uncomfortable conversation. And maybe the conversation was much longer than what we saw, because it is an edit show. But let me know what your thoughts are. Anyway. All right. So then next we actually see Dolores again. Dolores is not needed for this show. I'm sorry, but she's not. And this scene, I feel like it was an excuse for Liz to have a scene and talking about menopause. Because I don't think, clearly no one else on the show she will be able to have these conversations with. And so maybe that's the reason why Dolores is on this cast, because really Liz doesn't really have a lot of the women she could really relate to when it comes to like some of the older, not really older, but like she's in her 50s while everyone else is in their 30s and 40s. And at least two of the women are in their early 30s. Actually, I feel like a lot of them are in their 30s. I'm not sure, I'm not even sure who's in their 40s, if there's anyone that's in their 40s. And maybe there is, but I guess my point is because you have a lot of these women are younger than Liz when it comes to certain things. So there's just certain things that are going to be different. But anyway, but it was nice to see this scene because they were at her facility for their dispensary. And we find out that through the talk of Dolores and her are collaborating and making a menopausal gumby. Which, I'm for it. And that's pretty much what the conversation was in a nutshell. We're not really getting much from Dolores, other than her relating to the fact of menopause. But like, outside of this scene, yeah. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to Dolores being on the show. It really just comes off like she's not necessary still. But anyway, next. So we already went over the scene with Rula, Alicia, Billy, and Brian. Let's get into the main thing. So Kelsey is on her way to Rosie's because we find out that Rosie is giving her another chance, and she's like, yeah, she's going to come over and cut my hair, and we're going to try this friendship out again and try to make it do what it do. But both of them are being very petty. So Rosie, because she still does feel a way about the square footage of the home comment, she has her whole entire floor plan just laid out here to kind of prove her point, because apparently her square footage was 1 and then she changed it. Again, it's so silly, but it's crazy that they're arguing so hard over this. So anyway, that's what's going on her side while she's waiting. And then Kelsey is talking to Billy about it. She's like, yeah, I feel like I love getting people dialed up because I feel like it's a good way to bonding with people. And she's like, I think now we're past, our beef. So I'm going to play a joke on her. This joke was not funny. I'm sorry, I'm on Rosie's side. And basically what the joke was, this woman who's in her 30s is acting like she's 25. She's acting like, I don't even want to give her 20. She's acting like she's like 16 years old. And she decides she's going to put a siren on and says she's the house police and starts pretty much intercoming, saying all this stuff about, her square footage and everything as she's showing up at her house. And Rosie's taken aback and high-key offended, as she should be. I'm sorry. We're not that cool. Where is her couth? What I'm learning when it comes to Kelsey, she has emotional maturity of a 20-something-year-old. She does not have emotional maturity of a 30-something. And when I mean 20, I mean 21. It's like this has still not fully developed. Like, I would have been pissed too. And honestly, if I would have been Rosie, she wouldn't have even been allowed in my house. I would not allow her to come to my house and continue to play in my face. Rosie tries to take the high road again and is just like, okay, I guess. But you can tell Rosie's visibly upset as she's doing this. And she basically confronts her. She's like, that wasn't really funny. That wasn't okay. And Kelsey is like, no, it was funny. I'm like, if the person that you are playing the joke on doesn't find it funny, guess what? It's not funny. And so she's like, it's not funny. That's not okay. And then Rosie, and this is why your passive aggressiveness should not have stuck. Because the way Rosie completely snapped, that Taurus bull came out of her. I can tell she's a Taurus because it came out. She really just she went nuclear on her. She was like, where's your home? Da da da. Like, why are you doing this? She tore her a new one, and Kelsey had nothing for her, and she shouldn't have anything for her. Kelsey kept trying to argue back and all this stuff. And then Kelsey had the audacity to put her hands on her. She said, don't you put your hands on me? And she's like, no, get out of my house. Get out of my house. And so Rosie proceeds to kick Kelsey out of the house. And she grabs her shit, throws it out, and then pushes her out and then closes the door. And Shady Production opens the door again, lets her back in. I would have cussed every single one of the people from production out for doing that. And really, I think what Rosie did, she effed around and found out what she messed up doing was she should have did that, and then you locked the door. Because she was trying to get her to leave the house in a friendly way, but she would not leave. This woman had the audacity to try to stay at this house after she's like, no, you need to leave now. And Rosie threatened a couple times to call the cops on her. She would not leave. And they pretty much almost got into a physical altercation. Because one of the producers came in to try to stop it because they thought they were a nuck if you buck. And I think it would only have happened if Kelsey would proceed to try to stay up in that house. And I don't know why she thought she was going to stay in someone's house. Like, if someone kicks you out of their house, leave. You don't stay. Child, but anyway, that's where the episode ended. Let me know what you guys thought. Anyway, but that does conclude my review. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. I will see you next time. Bye.